Hi everyone. In my previous class, we learned about Kirchhoff's two laws. They are nothing but Kirchhoff's voltage law and Kirchhoff's current law. And the problems, the example problems related to the loop law and junction law. So now in this class, we are going to learn about electric power and formulas for how to find the electric power. And at the same time, we are going to learn about what is meant by overloading and what is meant by short circuit. What is the role of fuse wire to avoid the damage due to overloading and short circuit. All these things we are going to learn, and first we will see electric power. So our topic is electric power. And it is also known as power. Simply it is also known as power. So now we are going to learn about electric power or power. So first we will see what is electric power. So generally, how can we define the power in mechanics here? Rate of doing work. So power is nothing but work by time. So here it is related to electricity. Means how can we define electric power? So we will see so many electric appliances. For example, if we consider mixie and grinders, the power of that mixie and grinder is written on that box here. 200 watts, 1000 watts, like that. We will see that in power. So actually, what is the meaning of electric power? Means the amount of electric energy consumed by any electric appliance. The amount of electric energy consumed by any electric appliance in a unit time is known as electric power. So once again we will see the definition of electric power. The amount of electric energy consumed or utilized by any given electric appliance in a unit time is nothing but its power. So now we will write the equation for power here. Power equals to electric power equals to electric energy by time. Electric energy by time. So here energy and work both are same here. So instead of electric energy we can write work. Or else electric energy is nothing but work. Work and energy both are same. So work by time. So power equal to electric energy by time. So here electric energy is nothing but work by time. So this is a basic principle to find electric power. So now I am going to explain few more formulas to find the electric power here. So before that, first we need to know some basics here. So according to the definition of potential difference, we can write V equal to W by Q. That means potential difference equal to work by charge, work done on unit charge. So from this expression, what we can write? W equal to VQ. So this is assumed as equation 1. So now I am going to substitute W equal to VQ in equation 1. So from 1 what we can write? Instead of W we have to substitute VQ. So then we can write E equal to W by Q. So that is equal to W equal to VQ by T. So just I am substituting W equal to VQ in this previous equation 1. So then we get the equation like this: P equal to VQ by T. And according to the definition of current, we have I equal to Q by T. We know that I equal to Q by T. So instead of Q by T, we can write I. So then the equation becomes P equal to Q by T is nothing but I. So then we get T equal to VI. So this is considered as equation 2. Power equal to potential difference into current. And that is the second formula to find the power. So now I am going to use the Ohm's law. So from Ohm's law, what we can write? V equal to Ri. We know that according to the Ohm's law, V equal to Ri. So now I am going to substitute V equal to Ri in equation 2. So then what will get here? So from 2, P equal to V I. So instead of V, what we can write here? V equal to Ri. V equal to Ri of I. So then finally we will get P equal to I into I square. P equal to I square R. So this is the third formula to find the power. So now we will consider again we are going to consider equation 3 from 3. What do we have? P equal to I square R. But we know that according to the Ohm's law again, I equal to V by R. So now I am going to use this equation in this formula. I am going to substitute I value in this equation. So here I square is there. Instead of I, what we get at I equal to V by R. V by R whole square into R. So then if we solve this one, V square by R square into R. R gets cancelled. So then finally what we get here? Here I am going to write V equal to, what is the remaining term? V square by R. So this is the fourth equation. So from all these things, we have four formulas to find the power here. So they are given by P equal to W by, so this is equation 1. And what is the second equation? P equal to V, equation 2. And third equation is nothing but P equal to I square R. And next last equation, P equal to V square by R. So we have these four equations to find the power. So they give the relation between power and current and potential difference and resistance and work and time. So these four equations are very, very important to find the electric power. Okay friends, meanwhile we got the four equations to find the electric power. So now I am going to derive the formulas to find electric energy. Electric energy. So electric energy denoted with W. So here simply we know that power equal to energy by time, or is work by time. So from this equation, energy equal to work equals to power into time. So electric energy equal to power into time. So based on this equation, now I am going to write the three formulas to find the work or electric energy. So now from equation 1 we can write work equal to power into time. From equation 2 what we can write? So W equal to P into T. Just what we need to do? Power into time. So we know that power equal to V into I. So V I T. So this is equation 2 and this one is considered as equation 1. Simply what we need to do here to find the electric energy or work? We need to multiply the power into time. That's it. So equation 3 according to that I square R into T. This is equation 3. Similarly, we can write W equal to V square by R into T. These are the four equations to find the electric energy. So these four equations are most important to solve the problems. So now I am going to explain the units to measure electric energy. Okay friends, now let us see what is meant by commercial unit of electric energy. I am repeating, commercial unit of electric energy. So it is very simple here. Actually, some persons will come into our houses and they are taking the reading. They give the bill, power bill for every month. So that bill is nothing but electric energy. So here, how can we define commercial? What is actual meaning of commercial of electric energy means? The amount of electric energy consumed by us in our house by using different electric appliances is said to be commercial unit of electric energy. And this particular electric energy consumed by us in our houses is measured in special units. It is measured in different units. And this particular unit is known as commercial unit of electric energy. So how they are going to measure the electric energy consumed by us in our household appliances means they are going to measure in terms of kilowatt hour. Kilowatt hour. So this kilowatt hour is known as commercial unit of electric energy. And it is commonly known as units. How many units they consume, for how much, what is the cost of 1 unit electric energy. So here unit is nothing but kilowatt hour. 1 unit is nothing but kilowatt hour. So this kilowatt hour is known as commercial unit of electric energy. So now we will see how to convert these units or kilowatt hours into joules. So now I am going to explain how to convert kilowatt hours or units into joules. Why? Because SI unit of electric energy is joule. So we are going to convert commercial unit of electric energy into SI unit of electric energy. So now we will see that how to convert. So now I am going to consider 1 kilowatt hour We know that one very well here. Kilo means 1000. Kilo means 1000. 1000 means what we can write 10 to the power of 3. And here. So watt is the SI unit of power. So what is the SI unit of power? So what we know here, power equal to work by time. So what is the SI unit of power? Power is measured in watts. So what is the SI unit of work? Joule. And what is the SI unit of time? Seconds. So 1 watt equal to 1 joule by second. We have to substitute this value in this equation. 1 watt equal to 1 joule by second. 1 joule by second. So up to here completed. So again we need to, this is nothing but hour. We have to convert this hours into SI unit of time. What is the SI unit of time? Seconds. So we should convert 1 hour into seconds. So 1 hour equal to how many seconds? 1 hour equal to 60 minutes. Again 1 minute equal to 60 seconds. So that means 60 into 60. 60 into 60 seconds. Right. So now again into the power of 3 joule by second. 6 is a 36. 2 zeros. That means what we can write? 10 to the power of 2 second. So here second gets cancelled. So we have to write the remaining terms. So we need to add the powers. 10 plus 3. How much? 5. So remaining is 36. 36 into 10 to the power of 5 joule. And if we simplify this one, we can write 3.6. Here one more power is going to increase here. 10 to the power of 6. And what we can write finally? 1 kilowatt hour equals to 3.6. 10 to the power of 6 is nothing but mega. So one mega means 10 to the power of 6 is multiples of 10. 3.6 mega joule. Right. So in this way we can convert kilowatt hours into joules. So 1 kilowatt hour equal to how many joules here? 3.6 mega joules. Or else 36 into 10 to the power of 5 joules. So this conversion is most helpful to us while solving the problems related to the electric energy consumed by our household appliances. And it is completed. So next we will see one more topic here. This is think and discuss questions. Question given in your textbook. So what is the question here? The question is asking in your textbook like this here. A bulb is rated 60 watts and 120 volts. 60 watts and 120 volts. So what does it mean? Then what is the meaning of these terms? So first, in generally 60 watts means it represents what? Power. Power of the bulb equals to 60 watts. Why? Because SI unit of power is watts. And next 120 volts. What does mean volt? Volt means what it is representing, which physical quantity it is going to represent? Potential difference. So potential difference V equal to 120 volts. So first primarily we should write this one. Power of the bulb equal to 60 watts. Potential difference of the bulb equal to 120 volts. So based on these two, with the help of these two values, we can find out the resistance of the bulb. So now we should find the resistance of the bulb. So what is the relation between power and potential difference and resistance? Just now I explained the relation between these three components. So it is given by, we know that P equal to V square by R. P equal to V square by R. So if we rearrange this equation, we can write R equal to V square by P. So what we can write? R equal to V square by P. So this side I am doing here R equal to V square by P. So we need to substitute the value. So what is the value of V? 120 square is here. 120 into 120 I will write. So what is the power of the bulb? 60. 0 gets cancelled. 6 1 6 2 120 into 2 how much here? 240. So R equal to 240 ohms. Right. So that is the meaning of that particular statement. So from that statement we can say that power of the bulb equal to 60 watts, potential difference of the bulb equal to 120 volts, and from these two values we can also say that the resistance of the bulb is 240 ohms. The resistance of the bulb is 240 ohms. So that is the meaning of the actual statement. So this is what you should solve if it is came in your exams. And thank you. And our next topic is, so now I am going to explain after the completion of this electric power and commercial unit of electric energy and different different equations of electric power and electric energy. So now we are going to learn about next topic. Our next topic is we are going to learn about overload or overloading. Next we are going to know about short circuit, fuse wire, filament. So these are the four topics of this lesson. These are the last four topics here. These are all very important topics, and basics are also covered here. So just try to listen with concentration here. Just first you should observe this diagram carefully. So in this diagram representing general power transmission in our India. So in this way power transmission is going to take place inside our house. So here basically at the poles outside we have two lines. So we have two wires. They are nothing but main wires. These main wires are known as lines, main lines. So one is higher potential wire. So it is positive one, higher potential wire, and it is also known as live wire. So this one is said to be live wire, higher potential wire, and the potential here the potential of this live wire is 240 volts. 240 volts, and we have one more wire here. So its potential is 0 volts, 0 potential, and it is known as neutral wire. So it is said to be neutral wire, and it is also known as lower potential wire. So it has 0 potential, and these, with the help of these two wires, power transmission is going to take place inside our house. And here all these electronic appliances like tubes, bulbs, TVs, fridges, refrigerators, which are all the things we can use in our, all these electric components which are used in our house, they should be connected in between these two wires. So what are the two wires? Live wire and neutral wire. So in between these two wires, all these electronic appliances are connected. So here heater is connected, fan, bulb, fridge, TV, and so many electric. I am giving one example here how the power transmission is going to take place in our houses. So in this way power transmission is going to take place. So once you observe this diagram clearly, and all these electric components are connected in parallel manner, they are parallel to each other. So that means it is parallel circuit. So just according to the parallel circuit, we have some conclusions here. In case of parallel circuit, total potential difference will be same, and the amount of potential difference transferred to this all these electronic components will be same. So that is, every component is receiving 240 volts potential difference. Why? Because 240 minus 0 is nothing but 240. So this is the constant potential difference. V is constant here. V equals to constant. Same potential difference is supplied to all the electric components. And next thing, if we consider current, so most probably in our India, so the current will be transferred from 5 amperes to maximum 20 amperes of current for each meter, for each house. Minimum 5 amperes to maximum 20 amperes of current will be transmitted to each house through the meter. And here also, in case of parallel circuit, if we consider different electric components, the total current 20 amperes, supplied from the mains is distributed to different electric components. So this total current will be shared between these electric components. So according to the resistance of this electric component, they will receive suitable amount of current. So why? Because I equal to V by R. So current equal to potential difference by its resistance. According to the resistance, they are going to receive their own amount of current. So here only one thing you should remember. So they are all connected in parallel. So that's why here potential difference received by each electric component is 240 volt, that is constant. But here total amount of current supplied, that the amount of current, total current 20 amperes supplied to these components will be divided or distributed or shared between these electric components according to their resistance. So now I am going to explain what is meant by overloading. What is meant by overloading or what is meant by overload. So we will observe in our house, if we use all electric components like television, fridge, refrigerator, AC, fans, tube lights, geyser. So if we on all these electric components at a time, so we will observe that fuse will cut off. The fuse wire will cut off. Fuse will fall down. So this, why the fuse is going to cut here in this situation? So why? Because, so for example, if in this example we will consider TV is receiving 2 amperes of current here, and I am giving one example for the understanding purpose. So fridge is receiving 6 amperes of current. So bulb is receiving 3 amperes of current. Fan is receiving 4 amperes of current. Not exactly, just I am giving some approximate values. 2 plus 6, how much? 8. 8 plus 3, 11. So 11 plus 4, 15. For example, heater requires 5 amperes of current. So here it is in open circuit. The current is not flowing to the heater. But we are going to use all these electric appliances, fan, bulb, fridge, TV, all are going to, they are in working position. Why? Because closed circuit. But we are not sending the current to heater. Why? Because it is open circuit. Switch is open here. In this, current is not flowing. So if you add all these things, what is the total current here? 15 amperes. And if we, for example, if we close the switch, but that means if you are going to use the heater also, so then what is the total amount of current? 15 plus 5, 20 amperes of current. So we are using 20 amperes of current here. For example, I want to on one more electric appliance, one more tube is there. And what is the current received by the, for example, it is 3 amperes means it is 2 amperes we consider tube light. So if we on tube also, including with this all these electric components, if we on tube, additionally if we going to use tube also, it will take 2 more amperes of current. So what is the total amount of current here? 22 amperes of current. But actually how much current we are going to get here? Only 20 amperes of current. How much current we are going to consume? 22 amperes of current. So that's why we are going to utilize more amount of current. So there is a limit is there for the utilization of current. So what is the limiting current value here? 20 amperes. So if we use all the electric components, so in some cases we may use more than 20 amperes of current, more than limiting current. So this particular excess current transferred to the electric appliances, transferred to the wires, and due to this excess current, large amount of heat energy is produced in the wires. Due to this heat energy, these wires will disturb and they get damaged. So the wires are going to get damaged, and this is said to be overloading. This particular process is said to be overloading. So simple way I will explain. If we utilize more than 20 amperes of current at a time by utilizing all the electric appliances in our home, so this excess current causes a damage in all the electric components. So the damage due to this excess current is known as overloading. So this is nothing but overloading. And here we have one component in this circuit. This component is nothing but fuse wire. What is this? Fuse wire. So this symbol is for fuse wire. So here first I want to explain regarding fuse wire. Fuse wire is a thin wire. It is a thin wire. It is made up of an alloy of tin and lead. It is a combination of tin and lead. And always this fuse wire should be connected to live wire. Fuse wire is always should be connected to live wire. Plus wire in series. It should be in series. So why the fuse wire is always connected to live wire in series means, so why? Because if, for example, if we use all electric appliances, overloading will take place. So here fuse wire is connected to live wire in series. So whatever the amount of current which is supplied from the mains should be passes from the fuse wire. It has to pass through the fuse wire. And due to this excess current, due to the overloading, this excess current first it has to pass through the fuse wire. So then due to this excess current, fuse wire will get heated up. It becomes more heat. More amount of heat energy is produced in the fuse wire. Then it will melt. Finally it will melt and it will cut off. Once it will cut off, so again it becomes open circuit. So there is no linkage there. It becomes open circuit. So then in this way it cut off the power supply. It cut off the excess current which is flowing into the electric components. So in this way fuse wire will protect all the electric appliances due to the damage from overloading. So that is the purpose of fuse wire. So then what is the purpose of fuse wire here? Fuse wire will protect all the electric appliances from the damage due to overloading as well as short circuit. I will explain short circuit later on. First, from here we learned about overloading and fuse wire. And now we will see characteristics of fuse wire. What are the characteristics of fuse wire? So first characteristic is its melting point should be less. The melting point of the fuse wire should be less. So why? Because due to the excess current, immediately it has to melt. Its melting temperature should be less. Then only it will cut off, and then easily it can protect all the electric appliances. And next thing, its resistivity should be more. Not resistance, resistivity or specific resistance should be more. And why? Because if it has more specific resistance, more collisions are going to take place. Easily, more amount of heat energy is generated in the fuse wire, then it will easily melt and it will cut off the power supply. So these are the main important characteristics of fuse wire. And that too, moreover, fuse wire should be always connected to what wire? Which wire it should be connected? Live wire. Higher potential wire only it should be connected. For example, if we connect the fuse wire to neutral wire, there is no use. Why? Because current will always goes from higher potential to lower potential. So for that sake, we have to connect the fuse wire to live wire in series. So that is the purpose of that, connecting the fuse wire to live wire in series. So this is regarding fuse wire. Fuse wire is completed here. And next I am going to explain the next topic is short circuit. So what is in the short circuit? So we will listen to the short circuit, this particular term in our daily life so many times. So it is very simple here. Short circuit. That means length of the circuit is going to be decreased. So that is the meaning of short circuit. So further to explain the short circuit, we need to know this one. So this is the live wire, positive wire. This is the neutral wire, live wire and neutral wire. So lower potential, higher potential wire and lower potential wire. So when the live wire is in direct contact with neutral wire, so that how they are going to meet here. So for example, we are keeping one copper wire in between this. So we are connecting these two wires with the help of one copper wire. Right. In this way, we are connecting live wire and neutral wire. So when the live wire is in direct contact with neutral wire, then the length of the path traveled by the current is going to be decreased. So here, if we are not connecting any wire, current has to travel this much of distance. So it has to travel this much of length. But if we keep any wire in between the live wire and neutral wire, so here due to this connecting wire, current will travel only up to here. So that means length of the path is going to be decreased. So this is known as short circuit. And we can define the short circuit in another way also. You will observe, so when the live wire is in contact with, so these are the two wires, you will assume that these two fingers are two wires. So this is a live wire and this is a neutral wire. So due to the improper insulation, there is no proper rubber coating in between this live wire and neutral wire. So they are directly come into the contact. So when the live wire is in direct contact with the neutral wire, more amount of electricity will discharge. Electric charge will be transferred between these two wires. So this particular electric discharge is appear in the form of sparks. We will observe the sparks in electronic shops here. So when the live wire is in contact with the neutral wire, we will observe the sparks, more sparks. And I will explain now what is the short circuit based on this one. So whenever a live wire is in direct contact with the neutral wire due to the improper insulation, more amount of electricity will be transferred between these two wires due to low resistance path created between them. So due to this excess current, large amount of electric charges will be transferred between them. And due to this excess current, the wires becomes hot and the wires may damage and it may causes explosion also. So this damage is also known as short circuit. So whenever a live wire is in direct contact with the neutral wire, it causes low resistance path between the two wires. So due to the less resistance, more amount of current will be transferred between them. So due to this more current, due to the flow of this more current, large amount of heat energy is developed between the wires. Due to this heat energy, wires will damage. The wires gets damaged. So this entire process is also known as short circuit. So this is nothing but short circuit. So overall view is that whenever due to the short circuit and due to the overloading, due to these two things, the circuits and the electric components, or else the wires are going to get damaged. So both are causing the same thing. They both are causing the damage to the circuits due to the heat energy, and the damage due to the overloading and short circuit will be prevented by fuse wire. So that's why fuse wire is most important in our electric circuit, designing of electric circuits. So every electric circuit in our house should have fuse wire. So why? Because fuse wire will protect all the electric appliances due to the damage caused by short circuit and overloading. So that is the purpose of fuse wire. And next, last topic is filament. So where we will observe the filament? We will observe the filament in electric bulb, Edison bulb. You know that bulb very well. So basically, electric bulb converts electric energy into heat energy. So here, filament is a thin coil. It is a thin coil inside the electric bulb. It converts electric energy into heat energy and light energy. And here, basically, filament of an electric bulb is made up of tungsten. It is made up of which material? Tungsten. Tungsten is an alloy, like tin and lead. It is an alloy. And now we will see what are the characteristics of the filament. And if we consider the filament also, melting point of filament should be more. It is quite opposite to the fuse wire. Melting point of the filament should be more. So why? Because if it has low melting point, easily the filament will melt, and it is unable to convert the electric energy into heat energy. Total bulb will damage once the filament is melted. So that's why the melting point of the filament should be more. And here second one is resistivity of the filament should be more. Already I explained. So if a wire contains high resistivity, it can oppose the current with more strength. So when the opposition to the current is more, means more collisions are going to take place. Due to the more collisions, large amount of heat energy will be released. So by this, filament can convert electric energy into heat energy in large quantity. So that's why the resistivity of the filament should be more. So these are the 4 topics explained by me in this video here. So overloading, short circuit, fuse wire and filament. So by this, all the theory part is completed regarding this lesson, electric current. So now in my next video, I am going to explain all the textbook questions and additional questions and numerical problems related to the resistors. Numerical problem related to the resistors is very important topic. You should know about that one, how to solve the problems. Okay. Anyway, thank you friends. Please subscribe my channel if you like my content, if you like my presentation of subject here. Thank you everyone. Thank you.